You know, every real advancement in this country has been made by the ultimate development of a social movement. Very few real changes come from Washington. They come from grassroots organizing.
It's a shame that we have to beg our government for our basic human rights.
That's where the power is. The power really is in the hands of those of us who decide to get engaged.
For every one man that's employed on a mountaintop removal site,
those communities that are doing that are showing the way. Democracy is becoming engaged in community activities, whatever your interests are, whatever your concerns are, so that you have an impact in solving those problems.
South Wings was being set up as a volunteer pilot network. And the founder called me and I signed up immediately to be their first volunteer pilot. And it's just the best thing I've ever done, besides marry and have children. I can't imagine my life without it. We fly environmental missions of one kind or another. And legislation has been written because of South Wings, so it's a very, very powerful tool, and fabulous things have happened.
It is so exciting to see somebody who's never been an activist before and realize that their action can make the difference. It can help that entire community clean its water.
There's nobody in the state that is capable or has the knowledge or the equipment to test for these chemicals.
The Civil Society Institute has joined forces with a number of coalfield state organizations and clean power campaigns and has issued a call to action, in which the first step in this call to action is a call for a moratorium on all new coal-fired plants. There is no such thing as clean coal, and that there are alternatives, and that those alternatives can ultimately replace our dependence on coal if we decide to invest heavily in their development and the research in advancing those technologies.
The silver lining in this whole rush to build coal plants is it's provided a very important educational opportunity and organizing opportunity to educate people about where does the power come from to power their iPods. And most people are horrified, rightly so, that they have anything to do with the life cycle of coal, whether it's the destruction of mountains in West Virginia or it's the horrendous disposal of ash in unlined pits that are contaminating drinking water. And we have seen the public turn out in unprecedented numbers. And there are entire states now that are entirely off limits to new coal plants. Washington has said no, Kansas has said no, California's put coal plants off limits, voters rejected a coal plant in Maine, Florida is done.
We do have alternatives. So if people have the means, go out and get solar panels put on your house. But if you don't, ask your energy company, ask your state legislator, ask your governor, why can't I buy clean, green energy?
There are campaigns in every city and state in the country that people can get involved in. And in fact, getting involved is going to be an exciting and engaging thing for people to do, because we will be creating the next industrial revolution. We'll be creating a future in which there will be more clean energy jobs. Every state in the union has some sort of renewable energy potential.
The combination of energy efficiency and renewable energy is a clear and well-documented alternative to coal. Wind energy can compete with coal today. Solar will by 2012, 2015.
It is very important for us to act at every level. So all my electricity comes from wind and some from geothermal. I'm increasing the potential in the market. We can demand more clean, green energy.
We're more than consumers. We are the generators of preference, the generators of the possible. They don't sell if we don't buy. And that's true in political ideas as much as it is in toothpaste.
And we need to have our legislators demand it, as well as ourselves. Put your money into wind, put your money into solar, and especially put your money into efficiencies so that we don't need the coal. If everyone in the United States were to become more efficient rapidly, which is easily possible through incentive programs, economic gain, you're going to lower your electricity bill. We would decrease our coal burning power plants easily and not need any at all if we improved efficiency.
Together, all of our efforts, while they may be small, each one taken together creates a much larger whole, and that whole will lead us toward the kind of changes that we need.
Well, I got a phone call. Person called up and said, you know, you going to the meeting in town about the coal plant? I went, what meeting, what coal plant? And they said, oh, you know, the one they'd started over there years ago. And I did a little research before I went, and I went. I was pretty concerned by what I found initially. The bottom line is these things kill people. They emit a tremendous amount of unhealthful substances. And, you know, I heard what the Commission on Environmental Quality had to say and asked some questions. And I heard what the utility company had to say. And I know when I'm getting my string pulled, you know, the way they were selling it was a bunch of hooey. And the more I looked at this coal plant situation, the more I saw that these corporations were clearly getting preferential treatment. Virtually nothing they said was the truth. I mean, there was some small kernel of truth about this big with a giant wad of cotton candy and BS surrounding it. Start talking to your neighbors. We get so much spin these days that nobody trusts the information they get from anywhere. But if my buddy comes and talks to me and says, look, I'm concerned about this and you should be too, I believe that. Hi, Van, I'm Paul Roelke, and we may have met at the Grosbeck meeting about the NRG plant. We are, in many ways, what the people in the Appalachian coal mining states are facing. It is the same fight I'm facing. It's a situation where huge, powerful corporations need to do what they need to do to keep making their profits. I would like to hope that change will come from the top. That's not happening ever so quickly. Consequently, it looks like it's going to have to come from the bottom. Start by informing yourself. There's plenty of information available on the internet. And if enough of us get up off our couch potatoes, we can make a huge difference. How to eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Everyday people can make change. They don't need special knowledge. They don't need to be professionals. But if they learn and are motivated about the issues, then they all can have impact.
No social movement in the history of this country has been effective that wasn't initiated and led and sustained at the grassroots at the community-based level.
We are here today in the spirit of nonviolence.
The right to vote for women, the Civil Rights Movement and the Voting Rights Act, to the Disability Rights Movement, the Women's Movement. These movements have transformed our society in ways that we could never have imagined being legislated from above.
Democracy is working from coast to coast. If you give people the question, do you want to build a new coal plant or do you want to invest in clean energy? Resoundingly, people say overwhelmingly, we're done with coal, it's time to move on to something cleaner.